Hello all, my name is Kayomarz and I am trainer from wisemonkeys. In this tutorial we will go through some filter effects and blur gallery in Photoshop. So let's get started. So very first of all we have this image over here. We open this image over here. So if you want to duplicate it, just duplicate this layer and click OK. So you can go into this filter. You have an option over here called filter gallery. So you can click on this filter gallery. We'll go to this gallery one by one and we'll check out this effects. So very first of all, we'll change this color to white over here. Filter gallery, and as you can see over here, we have different kind of effects over here. That is your pencil width, stroke pressure, paper brightness. You have a cutout option over here. So if you want to only select a particular area and give this effect, you can give this number of levels. Edge simplicity, if you want to reduce this edge, you can do this over here. You can increase this. Dry brush, this is also a kind of effect. So if you want to apply any of the effects, you can just click OK. That effect will particularly applied onto that image. You have over here, that is your film grains. If you want any kind of a grains effect over here, if you want to make it more highlight, you can increase the highlight, intensity. These are all different kinds of effects. You want to change the brush size, brush detail, your texture, your glow, if you want to give some kind of a glow. If you want to even change the color of the glow, you can change the color of the glow over here. Paint drops, you can use this paint over here. You can use this a kind of a paint effect. So if you want to use this paint effect over here, you can easily use this paint effect. Palette knife, this is also stroke size. You can increase the stroke details, and the softness. Plastic wrap, if you want to make it look like a wrap plastic on top of it, you can use this effect. You get the poster edges. If you want to show some kind of a poster edges over here, you can show this effects like poster, edge intensity, and posterization. Pastels, rough pastels, you can use the stroke length, stroke detail, and the texture type. You want to change the texture type, you can change the different texture types and click OK. Smudge stick, you can increase, decrease the stroke length, the highlight area, and the intensity. You can check it out. The sponge effect, will work as same. Definition, smoothness, underpainting, if you want to show some kind of effect which is in the form of underpainting, you can use this effect. This is a underpainting effect. Scaling, relief, watercolor effect. If you want to show some kind of a watercolor effect, you can use this watercolor effect over here. Intensity, texture. So now we have brush strokes over here. You can use this brush strokes also. Edge width, edge brightness, softness. You can utilize this effects accordingly. Direction balance, the sharpness can be changed over here. Also you have option over here, that is your cross hatch effect. So cross hatch, you can use a cross hatch effect over here. You can change the sharpness, the strength. Dark strokes, you want to show some kind of a dark strokes. Black intensity, if you want to increase the black intensity, you can increase the black and white intensity. Ink outlines, you can use this ink outlines over here. Spatter, a kind of a spray kind of effect, you can use this spatter effect. You can use this spatter effect. Sprayed strokes, if you want to show some kind of a effect that is in a form of a spray, you can use this sprayed strokes. This is also effect. Shumi, stroke width, stroke pressure and contrast. Let's go into this distort, a glow. If you want to increase the grains, these are the grains, the dots, and the glow amount. You can increase, decrease the glow amount. Clear amount, you can make it a clear amount over here. If you want to show some kind of a glass effect, you have a different kind of a glass. Blocks, canvas, frosted and tiny lens. So if you take any of the effects, you can resize it, you can scale it. Ocean ripple, you can use this effects. If you want to show some kind of effect on a water, you can use this effect, that is your ocean ripple. After that, let's go on to the sketch effect. This is your sketch effect, your sketching effects. Chalk and charcoal, you can change this stuff, the stroke pressure, the charcoal effect, charcoal thickness, details, light and dark balance, chrome, crayon effect, can change it, canvas, brick, burlap, sandstone, graphic pen, also kind of a effect. So the color which you have mentioned over here, the black and white, it will show you that color over here. Half tone pattern, size, contrast, note paper, a kind of effect. If you want to show some kind of a note paper effect, so you can use this effect. That is your note paper effect. Photocopy, kind of a photocopy effect. So photocopy, you can see photocopy effect. Plaster effect, you can change this. Smoothness, from where you want this, you can change it. Reticulation effect, the density, the foreground level, the background level, stamp effect, so you can change this all. Tone edges, you can change it, the smoothness, the contrast of it, and the water paper. So you have into stylize your glowing edges. If you want to show some kind of a glowing edges over here, you can use this effect. Texture, you have some crack. If you want to show some kind of a crack texture onto an image, you can use this effect. Crack depth, crack brightness, grains effect, you can increase, decrease the grains. Tiles, mosaic tiles, you can show some mosaic tiles, you can increase, decrease the size, you can increase the grout width and the lighten amount. The patchwork, a kind of a patch effect. The glass effect, the stained glass, so you have the thickness, light intensity and the texturizer, you can use it. So if you take any of one of the effect from here, if you take this effect and if you click OK, any of the effect, if you click OK, the effect will be applied on it. So as you can see, the effect is applied onto an image. So now let's go to the blur effects. So go into file, open, and let's take some images. So you have some images over here. We'll take some images. So we'll open an image over here. So let's take this image. Okay, so let's take this image over here. So very first of all, go into filter, blur gallery. You have an option called field blur. So for example, if you want to blur any kind of a background which is very far, you can easily blur it. Just pin it over here. You can defocus this amount and you can focus this amount and you can defocus it. So for example, if you want to defocus the area which is very far, you can use this effect, that is your field blur. So field blur will help you out to defocus the area which you don't want to see. so you can easily focus and defocus the area. So now you can see the area which is present over here is only focused. The rest of the area which is over here onto the right and left is totally defocused. So you can use this light effect over here, bokeh color, and the light range. So if you want to show some kind of a light effect with a blur, you can use this over here. So if you select this, okay, sorry, you can reduce this. You don't need to increase the blur for this, so reduce this. After that, we have an option called iris blur. So iris blur will only blur the area which is not selected over here. So for example, if you want to increase this, as you can see, the area where it is present, it will focus that area, and rest of the area will get defocused up. So as you see over here, and now if you use this, as you can see, if you want to defocus the background, you can easily defocus the background in this way. So you can focus only on the area which you want to see over here. So that's what your iris blur will work. After that comes is your tilt shift. So tilt shift is like, if you see this over here, it's totally parallel, and if you go over here, you have an option. If you want to blur it from the bottom and if you want to blur it from the top, you can do these things over here, and you can focus, defocus this area. So you can only focus the area. It will totally work parallelly. So this is your blur and this is your distortion. So over here also you get the light bokeh effect. So you can utilize this options over here. After this, you have an option over here, that is your path blur. You can use this path blur over here. So if you want to blur this path, you can easily blur it. So you want to show some kind of defocusing with a speed blur, you can use this option. That is your taper effect. This is your endpoint speed. You can utilize it. And the last option into it, that is your spin blur. If you want to show some kind of effect which is in a form of a spin, you want to blur it in a form of a spin effect. So it will totally blur that area in the form of a spin. So you can blur that area accordingly. So if you want to apply any of the effects, you can easily apply those effects. So you can just off this effects if you're not working with it. So if you're done with this, fine, and click OK over here. So as you click OK over here, that particular effect will apply on top of that image. As you can see over here, this is your focused area and this is your blur area. So thanks for watching this tutorial.